You know you are being replaced. Don't fool yourself. The change is subtle, but the reality is clear. When you become an option, everything changes. Attention decreases. Promises begin to waver. He disappears, she reappears. It's a cycle that doesn't go beyond the same pattern. You wait for consistency that never arrives. You justify behaviors that are unacceptable. You remain in a place where you are not valued, and the pattern confirms itself. He ignores your needs. She prioritizes others. This is not love. It's disguised convenience. Every time you adapt, you reinforce the idea that you can be treated as a second option. The bond only exists because you sustain it. Staying still is also a decision. It's not about understanding the other's confusion, but realizing that this game has no winners. The truth is objective. Nothing changes because change is inconvenient for those who receive without giving anything in return. As long as you remain available, the scenario remains functional for the other. You don't need more evidence, you don't need more explanations. You need to decide if you will keep accepting this replacement. The reality has already been presented. You see yourself in a labyrinth. Every path seems familiar. You've walked this before, and yet you insist on returning to the same place. Hope disguises itself as love, but that's not what you experience. It's an empty routine, a dance between expectations and helplessness. He appears with a smile. She says the right words, but you know they are just masks. This is not a connection. It's a game of shadows, an echo in the void. You touch what should be real, but the texture is cold and distant, and you ask yourself, how long will you continue in this? Every time he pulls away, you feel smaller, as if your existence depended on him. You seek ways to retain what cannot be kept. Unanswered messages weigh like anchors, an absence that screams for the attention that doesn't come. What are you for, if you're not a priority? This question persists, but you prefer to ignore it. The fluctuation between good and bad moments becomes common. You cling to those fragments of happiness as if they were the only truth. But reality is different. That joy is fleeting, a sigh amid a storm. The pattern repeats. You get involved, you give yourself, and inevitably you get disappointed. She suggests a new conversation. You get excited. Maybe it will be different this time. But soon you realize that the promises are echoes of the past. The same story unfolds like a movie you've seen many times. Now you know the script, you know the dialogues, and yet you watch again, questioning your own role in this plot. The other plays mind games. You try to understand, but the logic doesn't hold. He disappears. She appears. Each interaction is a new stage of this vicious cycle. You feel exhausted, drained, but what do you really want? What are you willing to do to change this narrative that seems written by someone else? You observe yourself, trying to detach from your feelings. You reason that maybe it's time to stop waiting. The problem is that this waiting has become a habit, and like any addiction, it is hard to leave behind. The comfort of the illusion holds you tight. Still, you have the key, an invisible exit that you avoid using, because the uncertainty of the new causes more fear than the known suffering. That is the trap. That is the cycle you perpetuate. And while you accept, the other settles in the certainty that nothing needs to change. Connect with yourself. Look in the mirror. What do you see? A version of yourself clinging to empty promises, sustaining a bond that offers nothing. This recognition is uncomfortable, but don't forget there is no progress without pain, no discomfort. You don't need more time. You don't need more empty promises. You need to decide, and that decision lies within you. Time is not on the side of those who wait. Time is indifferent. Life doesn't care about your expectations. While you remain available, the situation will remain functional. For the other person, reality has already been presented, and it's not going to change. The difference lies in your choice, to accept or to break, to stay or to leave. The cost is yours and yours alone. And when you finally understand this, the universe will begin to align around you. The key to change is in your hand. Use it. Don't let this cycle continue. Don't let the void become your home. Repetition is not synonymous with love. It's a prison. True love is not an option. It's not a choice. Love is presence. And if it's not present, then it's not love. When you look back, see not the pain but the resilience, the courage to recognize yourself and to detach, and by doing so make space for something new. What's lost can be recovered, but not in the way you expect. Accepting that it's time to change is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. And now, ask yourself, will you continue in this cycle, or will you decide on something different? The answer is within you. The choice is yours. You find yourself surrounded by memories, each one a reminder of what could have been. The laughter, the plans, the promises. But the shadow of unfulfilled expectations weighs more than the momentary brilliance of those instances. You ask yourself, was it all an illusion? Or did you simply ignore the signs? Deep down, you know the answers are there, visible, but even so you hesitate. You're in a minefield of emotions. Every step is critical. It's like walking on thin ice. A fissure could appear at any moment, and you wonder if you have the courage to cross. He says he's busy. She appears when you least expect it. The dance continues to the rhythm of your insecurity. You convince yourself that you need to be understanding. He needs space, she needs time, but where is your space? Where is your time? You lose yourself in the attempt to justify. What should be clear becomes nebulous. The fog hides truths you don't want to see. And this is not just a cycle. It is an emotional prison. And loneliness, that old companion. She is subtle, but always present. When you pull away, she draws near, touches your shoulder and whispers, "You are not enough." But that voice is not true. It's an echo of a pattern you feed. You feed the void. Silences become your routine. Unanswered messages are walls you build around yourself. The waiting transforms into a desperate expectation, a silent wish that everything will change without you needing to move a muscle. That hope crystallizes in your mind, but reality dissolves it like sand between your fingers. Conversations lack substance. Interactions are not deep. You find yourself on a flat surface without depth. What could have been a connection has turned into a game of appearances. Once again, you ask yourself, how long will this last? You get distracted by the idea of love. A love that, by definition, should be full of respect and reciprocity. But you have learned that love can also be a dark place, a labyrinth where you get lost trying to find the exit. And while you allow yourself to continue in this failed search, he enjoys himself on the other side. There is lightness in his interactions with others. You feel heavy, as if you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. The difference between the two of you is glaring. Deep down, you know there is an emotional cost for every choice you make. And while you remain in this cycle, fragile, the value of real love dilutes. It becomes a distant echo. You wonder if he was ever genuine. The mind creates justifications. The heart, wounded, still seeks connection. But nothing healthy comes from this mixture. Attachment becomes an anchor, and every move you try to make towards freedom turns into a titanic effort. One day you wake up and realize change starts with a simple awakening, a sharp awareness of what truly matters. It's not about waiting for the other person to decide to change. It's about acting within the limits of your own existence. What do you really want? The answer is not what you would like it to be. It is cold and bare. For a long time you place the other person's needs above your own. This unbalanced exchange finally comes to an end. The layer of fog that covered your truths dissipates. And in this moment of clarity you take a deep breath. What you need is not complex. It is fundamental. You need space to be who you are. To love yourself before expecting something from the other person. Self-love is not a project for tomorrow. It is a continuous construction that requires daily work. You look in the mirror again, but now with new eyes. That image is not just a reflection. It is a portal, a call to authenticity. You will no longer be content with being an option. You want to be the priority in your life. And this transformation does not happen overnight. It is a process. Small daily decisions that lead you to autonomy. Sometimes the path is filled with pain, and that pain is a severe teacher. Each lesson will pull you closer to your truth. It may hurt, but it is still a pain worth feeling. Now you are ready to dig, to break the invisible chains that kept you trapped. Every step you take is an affirmation of your will to live fully. You will no longer accept crumbs. You are not a shadow. You are flesh and bone. You observe life happening around you and decide to actively participate in it. Stepping away is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of courage, and that changes everything. By deciding for yourself, you open the doors to new opportunities. The void that once seemed immense now becomes a space for the new. Allow yourself to be filled with experiences that truly matter. Be open to possibilities. The previous cycle has been broken, and you are ready to move forward. You feel the air lighter as you walk towards the unknown. With each step, the memories of the past dissipate like smoke. The weight that once seemed unbearable is now just a distant memory. The voices of those who doubted you no longer echo. They have been replaced by an internal whisper that says, "You can." And that whisper, though timid, gains strength with each new experience. You allow yourself to feel the breeze on your face, a gentle touch of the freedom that had long escaped you. The patterns of the past no longer have control over you. Each new interaction, each smile exchanged, is a confirmation that true love starts with you. Looking back no longer causes pain, but rather reflection on how much you have grown. You realize that vulnerability is not weakness, but a valuable space where true strength is revealed. That version of you that used to cry in silence now laughs out loud, and that laughter echoes in your mind as a sign of resilience. You rewrite the narrative. You seek to understand that love is a fertile field, where the seeds need care and attention to flourish. You plant, water, observe growth, and not just in others, but primarily in yourself. Every activity becomes a ritual. Cooking a healthy meal is an act of self-love. Dancing alone in the living room is a celebration of the body. Reading a book before bed is a gift to the mind. There is no longer room for superficial connections or empty promises. And in this new space, you start to attract people who vibrate at the same frequency. Friends who respect your time. Relationships that value your essence. You are surprised to realize that by prioritizing yourself, the world around you also transforms. Interactions become more meaningful. Conversations flow effortlessly. They are not filled with awkward silences, but with genuine laughter and exchanges of ideas. You feel alive, and this life doesn't depend on anyone's validation. It is a reflection of the love you have for yourself. New friendships bring a breath of fresh air. They challenge your way of thinking and help expand your vision. You find yourself surrounded by people who inspire you, who push you to be better every day. Instead of seeking approval, you now want to add value. And even when some people from the past try to reappear, you already know how to handle it. The familiarity of these interactions no longer scares you. You quickly identify the signs and decide to walk away, without guilt, without unnecessary explanations. The certainty that you are doing what is best for you is unwavering. You learn to say no. The word that used to come out hesitantly now flows as an affirmation. No, this doesn't serve me. No, I am not willing to accept less. This assertiveness brings a comfort that you never knew. Finally, you place yourself in the position you should have always occupied. Over time, you discover that the loneliness that once seemed oppressive is now a space of discovery. It is in solitude that you reflect, that you rediscover yourself. In the absence of distractions, you can hear your true desires. And in the quiet, something beautiful emerges: self-compassion. You forgive yourself for the choices made, for the energy wasted. This compassion is not permissiveness. It is a recognition that you were learning. The pain was necessary to shape your strength. Therefore, the scars are not marks of weakness, but rather trophies of an internal battle that you won. You look at them and smile. Each one tells a story of overcoming, growth, and wisdom, and life now seems vibrant. Now you see relationships in a new light. True connection is built in an environment of mutual respect and reciprocity. You no longer settle for crumbs, and gradually, the people around you start to notice and admire this transformation. That love that once seemed out of reach now pulses within you. It doesn't need to come from someone else. It is yours. This unconditional love for yourself nourishes all other aspects of your life. You become your own reference point, and this change resonates in everything you do. The way you present yourself to the world changes. Your posture is upright and your gaze is firm. You have come to believe in the value you carry. And so a new chapter begins. The expectation of a bright future takes shape. It is no longer about finding someone to fill a void, but about sharing your fullness with another soul who is also whole. The realization that you have become the home you always sought is liberating. Thus, an infinite range of possibilities opens up. What lies ahead is uncertain, but you embrace this uncertainty with courage, because now you know you can face any challenge, and above all, you have understood. Love is not an option. It is your constant choice. It is time to live fully, without constraints, always seeking what truly matters.